Oh boy, it worked. All right. So I'm just gonna be playing with Touchdesigner, I guess. I really like using noise when I have zero ideas of what to do. So, um, actually, I do kind of have some ideas. Specifically, I wanted to do like an instancing network where I played primarily with tops and for my instancing. So first, I guess, let's make a render network. Um, yeah, so I'm thinking I will probably turn this down slightly. No, I'm gonna make an my F logo and then start for my instancing network and then just kind of use noise to play around with it. So I'll use a text stop. I wonder, I haven't used a text stop for this kind of thing, or yeah, for this kind of thing in a long time. So we are just gonna try F and then see what our, that will not work because I cannot mess with that geometry. So we are gonna get rid of that. And we are gonna make an F using a box SOP. So we'll go here, box, grab that, and then scale it up on the y-axis. Let's see if I have like an extension. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're gonna kick that up to 5. Bam, and then we can use divisions to kind of add geometry. We'll change that to 5 there. And then yeah, that should be good like that. Next, I'm going to make another box. And then for this one, I am going to, actually, we're just going to kick up the geometry on all of these. So this one's going to actually be 15, and that one's going to be 5. We'll do 5, 5, 5. Maybe. This all is subject to change. All right, and then we're going to do a transform SOP. 2 of those. And I'll probably split my screen in half. Make this a little bit smaller, and then I want to view my geometry. And just like that, there's nothing there yet. That's fine. Okay, so if I hit display, it'll display. Excuse me. Probably gonna lower the geometry on that. It's been a long time since I've really done a lot with SOPs. Most of my 3D stuff is in Blender at this point. But we'll display this one as well, and then we will start moving it to where it needs to be. So we're just gonna move it over this way. Then we're gonna move it up on the y-axis into its spot here. And then I'm gonna copy this actually one more time with it right where it's at. We'll move these in a second. But for this one, first I'm gonna lengthen it on the, I don't know what I'm doing. We'll do something like that, and then move this over some more. So it is right there. And then this guy, my little X, we will move that over some more. And then Bam. So it's starting to look like the F. We're getting there. This is 1.8 wide, so I will. Oh wait, no, that's wrong. It's 2.6 wide, so I will make this 1.3 wide. Display that as well. Then we are just gonna translate that over. What is this at? Oh, that doesn't help. Zoom in a little bit more, make sure we're perfect. We'll take this bad boy and just inch it back. Bam! And so now we're starting to have proper geometry. Actually, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. No, I'm not. I will copy this one more time. And eventually I'm going to have to turn off all of these windows from displaying because I'm going to kill my CPU. But we'll just bring that bad boy down. And then bring this guy over. We'll make him just a little bit smaller as now I want to scale it on this axis. No, not that one. I want to do it on this one. Bam, and now it's perfectly lined up. We are almost there, but we are going to copy this guy one last final time. We are definitely going to turn down the number of vertices because this is quite a bit. But we need that last final one at the bottom. So we're going to bring this down to 0. Negatively translate it, and then I think if I just make this -3, bam, we have a perfect falling F going for us. So that is excellent. Yeah, so then we're going to change the number of divisions, probably 3 by 3 by 3. This one can be 3 by 3 maybe. Something like that. That should work fine now. But then we're going to drag that guy over here. We're going to turn off all of these viewers, and we're just going to turn off all of those from. Well, actually, yeah, we'll turn off all these because I'm about to render things, so that'll be fine. Or throw it into a render. We should be able to merges geometry from multiple SOPs. Then we're just going to grab all of our SOPs here and plug that into there. Bam, we see our falling F. We're going to end that on, use our hotkeys. We are going to end that on a null. There we go. Perfect. And then we'll turn off the viewers on these as well. From there, I want to go to SOP to chop. And then we'll go chop to top. Ooh, it's been a minute since I've done this. Can I rename these? Okay, never mind. We're gonna add in a rename first. From TX to YTZ to RGB. And then we'll drag that onto our RGB. Bam, now we can see that. We are gonna do fit to square. And then for now, we'll end that on a null. This would be our positions, and normally you do POS. I like to think piece of shit, so we're gonna do fall. Haha. No. Next, we are going to add in one last piece of. I'm already losing a little bit of frame rate, so we're just gonna kick that down to like 45, just so I know it'll real-time render. Let's go. But now we need an actual piece of geometry to render. So we're gonna make a box op. I'll connect it to a transform so I can play with the size. End that off on a null. And then plug that into a geometry comp. Bam, now we can see our geometry is displaying. Oh, I guess we can't, we can only go that far, okay. Next, I want to make this box for every single vertice that is in this guy right here. So every time a point meets, we're gonna create a new box. So we're just gonna kick this down to a really small size so that there will be space. And in fact, I might grab all of these right here, move them over a little bit, and just add in a transform in case I need to scale this guy up. We'll scale it up to like 2.5 for now. Close that down. So next we're gonna go into here, take our null instance, and then we're gonna do that for our translate OP. So we're just gonna pick our G and B. So now if we look, I guess that is also a problem because some of these are not exactly what I was hoping for. Damn it. So pretty much, I guess the best way I could do this is just, I'd have to make individual boxes for this, but we're not going to do that because I don't feel like trying to make the F anymore. So we're just going to instance and play with noise in a different way. So first, I'm going to grab probably one of my favorite geometries, this super quad, because you can kind of change into these weird shapes here. So we'll kind of create a shape real quick that we can play around with. Yeah, we'll do something like this to start with. Bam, and then we're just gonna drag that onto there. And now we see it there, but we're also gonna add a transform. And then a null. Drag that onto there. Scale this guy up a bit, and then we can delete or stop that from rendering. And on here, we'll add some more rows. Do like 32 by 16, maybe. Yeah, that'll work for now. Perfect. So now that is rendering, but now we're gonna go ahead and close this guy over here. We're gonna add in a camera so that we can visually see what we're working on. We're gonna add in a null comp, drag that onto here so it looks at that instead of the geometry. Next, we're gonna need a light. And now we can go ahead and render, but we're just gonna turn off the viewers for these guys so that it's less CPU intensive. We're gonna go into Top's World and grab a render, so now we can actually render all this stuff. And then throw a null all the way over here. And bam, now you can see our geometry. I'm gonna kick this light back even farther. Wow, that didn't do shit. Then we're gonna take our camera too and also send her back a bit so everything is just visible. And then I don't like this alpha transparency background, so we're just gonna do an RGB key to give us a solid black background. Let's go. Now there's not a lot going on with this yet. Next thing I want to do is create another chop to sop. Only this time we're going to do legacy. And then this is an aspect of 482 by 1. So the best way to make sure that if we change anything that this will follow along is we're going to go to our common here. Just change that to 1 because that'll always be 1. But then we're going to do OP chop to 2. Right? Yeah. Dot width. And then bam. So this will actually change in its resolution if I go over here and I change something like that. You'll see that this has now changed as well, but for the time being we're not going to change that, so we're going to put that back down to 16. Looking good so far, I would say. And then for this we're going to put it in the bottom part here and then just do some make the noise move. So if we type in our little Python script abs time dot seconds and then slow it down a little bit, you can kind of see that the noise is very slowly changing. And then we'll create another null, and that one will be our size. So then if we go back to our network here for instancing, we can just drag that on the scale and then just use the same scale for all of these. Why is this not working? Must have the same lengths, you say. So if I change this to be legacy, will it? Okay, I guess that'll work too. Everything's still working the way I want it to. Perfect. But if we, now everything kind of changes randomly, but if I do a limit top, I'm pretty sure, some of this is from an old tutorial I watched a long time ago. It's been a minute since I've seen it, so if I can change this to a value of 1, bam, perfect. So now it's either visible or invisible, and it's just going to keep doing that. And then I think I might kick up my number of instances, transform this a bit more, make it a little bit bigger. I also should probably yeah, looking kind of interesting now, but there is a lot going on. I think if I, now the name of the game is to make this not look like ass. Maybe some hard 2D shadows. Yeah, now you can start seeing shadows. I do need a material for my thing, so we're gonna do material. Now we have a Fong material. It's a good color, guys. Ooh, I like that color. I don't know what color I want to do, so I'm going to do white because if I do a color map, I can't, on here, I can't just like cycle through colors, but I think if I create in the tops world a constant, yeah, I can make this cycle randomly. So we have 3 values for color, and all of them are on white right now. We're going to call this color map, and then we are going to attach it to our color map there. Bam. So as you can see, that did literally nothing. But if we jump back into our channel operators, we can create a I might do an LFO for these. So like ramps in color. So we're going to do an offset of 0.5 and 0.5. So that is now 1. So now it just cycles between 0 and 1. Copy that twice. And now they're all moving a little bit different from each other. If I do a merge, we can put those together. We're just going to go into channel real quick and name them. So that's for the red channel. That is for the green channel. And then this is the blue channel. I might also change the shape of some of these. So I'll do like a triangle wave for my R. A ramp for my green value, and then B could stay assigned. So we'll just drag these, put them in our merge, and end that on a null. So we can come here and then grab our values and reference them. So as you can see, now they're changing. Kind of this weird. I don't like the ramp though. That's just gonna go back to I'll try Gaussian because Gaussian's kind of cool. Bam, and then that's cycling really fast, so we'll just kick that down. That one could be 2.5. Say this one's 0.56 because I accidentally hit that. And then this one is gonna be just 0.2. So bam, now we have kind of a slower moving. And I think it would be kind of cool if our super quad here, it goes ahead and like rotates on its y-axis. Yeah, because if we do that, it'll spin. So we're going to use our same little abs time dot seconds. And instead of multiplying it by a float or like a decimal, I will still use a decimal but make it faster. Maybe 10. Yeah, so now it's doing that. This right here will slow it down even more. 0.01. And then the noise will. If I turn the period way up. Yeah, there we go. Now it's kind of. I'm not loving the super quad though. Can I just, I'm going to try replacing this with a box SOP. But we can add a ton of divisions on the one box. Because yeah, like right now it's just 4 points. So like if we do a wire, you can see there's only up to 8 because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. But if we use the divisions, now we can up that. So like if I up that to 10, 10, and 10, and then we can make this closerly. First, we're just going to bypass this noise. Now we'll lock this size so we can kind of, right? get everything scaled in the size we want. I guess that works. That's a pretty good size. These down here may need to come up just ever so slightly, so we're gonna, no, that's overlapping. Yeah, that should be a good size. Then I should probably bring my camera in a little bit closer. I think it would be cool actually if like it was breathing, so it got like from there to like up there, and it just kept doing that ever so slowly. So we're gonna put that back at 2.5, and then we're gonna figure out how we're gonna go about doing that. Once I unlock my size here, unlock. So now it's back to doing its thing. And if we play with the period, I don't know if the harmonics will do much in this. Yeah, it kind of does. Turn down the harmonic gain. What if I, instead of on this axis, what if I copy this and like put it on? Because now it should be like, yeah. Let's think about this real quick. So if I disconnect that. Okay, what if instead of noise, we copied this right here, and then we created a ramp top. Stay with me now, guys. We're gonna switch this output to be, can I just do, oh no, that's just alpha. Mono alpha, there we go. So now this is just white. We can change this to 1, and then plug that into the limit top. So my idea here is if I translate this on the if I translate this, move the phase, it will like, but what if I delete that? Yeah, that looks cool. Bam. So we can set this to that same ABS time dot seconds. Turn that way down. And now, let's fucking go. Maybe turn that up a little bit though to like 2.5. Bam. Now we have this kind of like cool, whatever you want to call it. But it's a little bit farther away. So now we can reel in our camera. Let's try 10. Yeah, that looks good. And then we're going to pause this from moving. So we're just going to copy that and put that at 0 for the time being. And then if we look, there's a gap still on our biggest part. So I want them to be absolutely touching. That works, I think. That's probably going to be as good as I can get it. So now we can go back to our ramp and just throw that code back in there. Now it's doing its thing. I do still want to kind of, with this, make it breathe a little bit. Oh. That'll work. We'll just leave it at 2.5. I do kind of want this to move even slower, so we're just going to move that to 0.1. So it's really slow. 0.2. And to keep up the trend, this bad boy here will be 0.3. There, our blue is now the fastest moving, much like our Sonic the Hedgehog. But yeah, so this is looking pretty good so far, I think. Check my stream. Yeah, I'm still going. Woo! 0 concurrent viewers. Let's fucking go. All right, so now that we have that, if I go into my, I want to play with my light a little bit more. What does soft 2D shadows look like on this? I kind of like the soft 2D shadows. I do probably want to move my light or turn it down a little bit. Let me play with my material first, because my shininess, I kind of want it off. Or do I want it really shiny? I want it off. What would the diffuse, if I change this, can I just like make it more a certain color? Yeah, if I change the diffuse, I'm pretty sure it will make it lean more towards a specific color. I might just leave the diffuse at black. No, at white, yeah. And then for alpha, we can do, actually what I think I'll do is, for the time being, we'll create a switch here into a null. We'll call this constant again, yes to all. This one will be color map. And then this guy will drag on here, put on the color map. And then that way we can look at this. This is 256 by 256. Noise. This one is also 256 by 256, because then we can plug that in. And on our switch here, change that to 1. But that does not look all that interesting. So we're going to actually put in a texture 3D. There we go. We'll slide that in there, and then it's going to make a bunch of these. How many instances do we have? Good question. I don't know. 1,000. I cannot do that many. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kick this up to 100 maybe. Then on this, we're going to do output transform abs time dot seconds. Just a classic little script here. And if you notice, the textures are changing, but they're all changing together. And we'll dial in what the noise looks like here in a minute. But that is a problem because everything is exactly the same, but we have the texture depth is 100. So we're going to hit save because I want, oh, no, we're not going to save. We're living life on the, actually, yeah, we'll go ahead and save. Put this in Touchdesigner project. Okay, so for the longest time my audio is not working, but now it is. So we are gonna make this. I have no idea how long that was like that, unfortunately. And now I'm only coming through one ear. This is just okay. Now audio is back. We're gonna delete my video capture and bring that back in too. It's a good thing nobody is watching. Fuck. Video capture device. Okay. We're gonna go back into my camera. So yeah, for some reason my audio and video froze. So at least my desktop capture kept going. So that's nice. I don't know how long it did that. But right now we're just trying to figure out what colors to do. I want something kind of trippy, but I'm terrible at color theory. I am much more of a sound kind of guy. Yeah. And if we really wanted to, we can make that like move across, but I'm just gonna pick two colors I really like, because that's all that matters, is that you like what you're doing. I don't know my colors, but I can definitely have fun playing with red, blue, and a really sharp purple in the center. Bam, and then we'll just animate that, because life is what it is. I really wonder how long I was not recording audio and video, but that is for future Joseph to look into. And then what if we just make it go back and forth between that and like this maybe. I could also probably copy and paste that, and instead of doing this, what if I delete that and then make this red over here, black, and this blue over here, just white. And then plugged it into our color ramp here. Bam. So we can like swap between like a textured version of what's going on and a non-textured version. Beautiful. We'll kick this up a little bit, and then we'll create a normal map out of that, and then we will end right here, and we will call that normal. Bam. I'm gonna be watching this second screen like a fucking hawk to make sure it does not do that again. Normal map. Okay, so I did not expect that to disappear when I added a normal map, so we're just gonna get rid of the normal map, because obviously Steve doesn't want us to have a normal map. So I don't know why I chose my weakest aspect in Touchdesigner to be my first thing I did in here, but it is what it is. We're gonna make this actually transform. So we're gonna grab an LFO, and instead of doing the math, because we technically don't need a math chop as long as we know how to do the map. This is math. This is going -1 to 1, so we'll just add in a math chop, and then finally a null. I'll change the range on this from 0 to 1 to -1 to 1. Then we're gonna do 2.5 to, how big do I want this to get is the question. Whoa, we'll do 10. That's kind of cool looking. So, and here we'll make that go to 10. And then we're gonna slow down our LFO to like 0.2. So it moves really slow. Activate this chop here. Drag that on the scale. And now everything is moving. I might even slow that down even more to like 0.075. Yeah, there we go. And I think it would be cool if the boxes were spinning in place too. So we'll go to the transform for those and just type in that same script, abs time, not seconds. Not on the translate, but on the rotate. And now you can see they're spinning. We'll times that by 10 so that they have like a decent spin speed. And you can see them shadowing off each other. Yeah, I actually really like how this is coming so far. On top of that, I probably want to as well do some post-processing. So this is where I have my absolute most fun. So we're just going to drag this over. I'll probably have the I'll have the RGB key be my like first thing in this so that it does have a black background. We're going to change some of these settings. Specifically, we're going to go in here, 32-bit float, so that is big. And then this should be, yeah, use input. All right, so here's where the magic starts happening. We are going to create a feedback loop to start. So for that, we'll just create feedback, and then a composite. From here too, we'll add a level. And I guess this isn't really just post-processing, because in my head, post-processing is to like make things look better, how they already are. And to me, I'm just sort of like playing with the palette still. So right now, this is frozen on the very first image, and it's doing a multiply. So if we do add, you can see it's just holding that. We'll probably do over actually. Add the level on top now. Oh wait, that's why I put the RGB key over here. So we're gonna actually plug that there, and then hijack that signal, and then this guy can go and be plugged into that, and then plugged into that. So like right now, it's about to get really weird looking. So if we drag that on here, now it's just doing a infinite loop, and looks pretty cool. But in this opacity here, we can also start to, like if we put it at 0.9, it'll fade away. But right now, with the way it's set up, I kind of like having it at 1. And as long as nothing gets too bright, if something gets too bright, it'll just eventually default to just white. And that's not always what you want. And 2, we can kind of play with some of these. So like I like difference here some of the time. Sometimes if it's too similar, it will start freaking out. But we can fix that by, we can add in a cache. And then we can output a different one. So we can say like output -32, and now it's 32. It's outputting 32 frames behind what's going in, so that it doesn't do that like flickery thing. And we can probably like get even closer. Now, if we get too close, it starts flickering again. So we'll just go back. Probably 10. We'll say 10 for now. Bam, but I don't know if that's exactly what I'm looking for. We could try to like taking just this signal, running it through an edge, and then having, yeah, we'll just throw the RGB key all the way over here. We don't need it. Set that over here, and then we'll create another composite. And then this one is going to be a over. So we have this edge here, and it is going to be over all this. So you can see what the original kind of geometry was like. Bam. So yeah, already like really, really wild kind of stuff. Quite a few operators though. I'm sure I could have done this with less, but you never know. What else do we want to do? We could go in here. Sometimes I do like, we could add in a noise, and instead of having it like this, what we could do is turn the exponent or the period really high, so it's like really, really tiny. If I turn the harmonics down, we'll turn this offset to 0. And so right now it's just like a bunch of grain on there. And I think if I turn down the, yeah, if I mess with the, can we bypass this? Yeah, so it adds a little bit of noise and graininess to it. And the more we go that way, the more you'll see of it. We'll set that around like 2.1. And then if we animate it, it kind of gives us like a little film kind of grain feel. Not a lot to be seen with that. We might kick it up a little bit more so it's a little bit visible. Sometimes I'll turn monochrome off, but not in this case. So bam, yeah, right there. We could already do like a whole concert of people tripping super hardcore, just looking at that, and they'll be like, bro, how does somebody do that? Well, we just did that, but we're not done yet, actually, because I'm still having fun messing with this. So from here, we may not even use this next part. I just kind of like throwing it on my projects to see how it'll look sometimes. So we'll do a switch, so if we don't like it, we don't have to use it. Grab these 3, move them way down here. Excellent. Then from there, we are going to create a comp. That'll be like our end of this other chain. And then we'll just plug that into there and switch it over so that we can just look at that. And right now it's unhappy because we don't have anything in there. But this will be the classic, I'm not sure exactly, it's like a, I'm not sure what you would call it, but we're gonna do it. It's basically taking a sharpen, a feedback, and a slope, or I guess slope displacement is what I've heard it called. But we're gonna do a slope, or well, a blur and then a slope. Blur and a feedback before all that too. Because the idea is we'll use that, and then we're gonna grab a displace top. Then we're just gonna grab this bottom one, and already it looks very, very strange, but we're gonna drag that onto our feedback. Start turning down our displace weight. We'll just say 0 and 0 for now. So right now it's not doing anything. We'll kick this up to like a strength of 10, and then slowly start introducing some displacement. And so yeah, it just kind of looks cool. It makes it like watery, if that's something you like. What I'm thinking is I'm going to bypass this because I don't really want that in this version. I don't think. But yeah, it's starting to like watery kind of itself out. And if we go here into the displace on this one, we'll kind of start kicking that up too. Yeah, and everything just sort of starts getting all watery. And we can also just turn this down for now because you never know exactly what you want. Right now it's not really doing much, but we can take this and like kind of play with the blurring effect. And also start turning this up. Maybe, yeah, there we go. Now it's like an very strange. but I do in fact kind of want that. So I'm gonna plug this one in directly there. Turn this guy back on. And then instead I will make this my switch. So I guess I don't need this composite. So if I switch between them, and that would be cool. You could like automate that to like a kick drum. So like every time the kick hits, you can get like, obviously I don't have mine set up to do that, but it'd be a cool idea. I'm not sure. Oh, the UV weight will just let you zoom in. But yeah. So then what I like to do at the very end here is I'll just go ahead and grab an out F1. Well, actually, I want to make it so I can switch between these two inputs. And I will make it so they blend between each other too. So make our keyboard actually do something in our visual. We're gonna throw this on, so every time I hit the 1 key, you can see that moves. We're gonna do a count because I want it to hold when I press it, and then when I press it again, I want it to go back to 0. So right now, if I press it, you'll just see it'll keep counting upwards. Not really what we want, because we only have a 0 and a 1 input. And by that I mean if we go to our switch, index 0 or index 1, 0 or 1 right there as well. I didn't mean to switch that. Okay. So on this, we're going to limit the count to loop min and max, 0 and 1. We're just going to pulse to reset that. Then if I press it, it'll automatically switch, but we have it set up so that it'll fade between our inputs, and we want to utilize that today. So out of here, we're going to just grab a lag. We're going to throw down that lag and then kick it up to like 0.5. So now when we press it, it takes a second to get up there, comes right back down, and then we are going to I think clamp slope maybe. Yeah, we'll clamp it. Then we're going to grab that and reference it on our index here. So now when I press 1, whoa, when I press 1 again, bam, there we go. Working just fine. So now we can go out here and just appreciate our visual. But at the same time, I don't like my taskbar being visible. Taskbar behaviors automatically hide. Bam, now guys, now we're rocking. So if we hit 1, woo, and then if we hit 1 again, it will go back to our original version. And then at the same time, we still, like, if we wanted, we could bypass like all this if we wanted the original version of the signal in there too, where it's like the render. So for that, if we just, instead of dragging a wire all the way over, we're just gonna create a select top. Set that over here, make that our input 2, because it starts on 0. And then we're just going to go and grab our render, throw it on top. Now it is a duplicate of that, so if I modify our count and make it up to 2, we can now just see that version, and then bam, back into our original guy here, which actually looks really nice with the soft shadows. Normally I don't play around with shadows on Touchdesigner. I don't really use them all that much. But yeah, that's good stuff, I would say. And I did. All right. Well, thank you all for. Oh shit, wrong thing. Thank you all for tuning in. My 0 viewers. This was a phenomenal first stream. Uh, I am gonna go ahead and say, falling, signing off.